Hi, I'm Varian Brandon, and this is, I'm not sure, I think I'm going to put this under design decisions. If you're not familiar with my channel, I have several little groupings of things. Sometimes it's about stranded knitting, sometimes it's about the design process, sometimes it's just a tangent where I just sort of wander all over the place talking about what's on my needles and that sort of thing. But this one I think is going to be on the design. I think I started that way. Anyway, we're going to talk about this shawl right here. This is a crescent shawl that was made completely in the round with steeks to open it up. And I'm going to take this off because I know it's probably messing up the microphone a bit. And also, it is cold outside and my hair is like static electricity. I mean, I feel like, it's driving me nuts. But anyway, wanted to get this done. This has been a long time making. I'm getting ready. This is the finished shawl, all done up like this, and has little tassels on it and stuff. This one was done, I started this some time ago, and I think I've talked about this before in the beginning stages. This is done with fiber seed, the fiber seed sprout sock. Anyway, wonderful yarn, wonderful colors, and I'll talk about more about this later. I made a couple of videos while this was in progress because I wanted to show you kind of how this worked and how I was working on it, especially to cut the steek open. So these videos were shot during recovery. I'm in North Carolina, so during the recovery after Hurricane Helene hit this area and just wiped us completely out. That was the end of September. I would like to tell you that we are all back to normal and everything is fine. We are pretty much that way in this house. However, the area is not back to normal. There are several places that need a lot of work. I was reminded of that this morning. Just when you think it's all, fine and you're going about your business, you run into somebody who is talking about clearing up the river, or their house is completely gone, or they're little towns that don't exist anymore and they're from that little town. So it's a ride, I just tell you. But I want to go back and during that time when we were on Generator, I did 2 videos about this shawl and cutting of this steek and how this kind of works. So let me roll those for you, and I'll be back at the other end to talk about it some more. Okay, the sound you hear in the background is the sound of a gas generator. I'm in North Carolina, so that we are in the recovery after Hurricane Helene, and we have no power except for a gas generator, so it makes a lot of noise. I've got to have it on or I won't have any lights. And if I decide to shoot this later, who knows when we're going to get power back. They say Friday, but who knows. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do it, and just hopefully the sound won't be too bad. I did do a test. At least you can hear me. It's not overpowering. But I was going to show you, if I shoot this right, you'll see this piece finished. So for the intro. So this is done. So I just want you to see where we started from this. This piece was started, it has no name yet, was started here with, I think, 7 stitches. I'm going to have to check my notes. 7 stitches, and working this way, creating this steek panel in here. So that, and then I did increased every other round, 1 stitch or 2 stitches every other round, all the way up to here, and you'll see that in the pattern. So anyway, so we'll go this way. I'm getting ready to cut this steek open, but once I got down to here, I did a purl turning round, turned this over, did this little bit of a hem, gives us a bit of a weight here, and then just whipped that down. This is a crescent shawl, which you have seen because you've seen the finished part of it, but it is crescent around like that. So I'm getting ready to cut this steek open. This is, I think I mentioned, this is fiber seed sock, sprout sock, I think, but it's their sock weight yarn. I have not worked with this with a steek before. I adore Lindsay and Jordan, who are the fiber seed people. Lindsay is a very talented yarn dyer, And Jordan is just a sweetie, and he is real knowledgeable about the yarn and what the two of them are doing. So great people. So if you ever see them any place, make sure that you go look at their yarns. But what I did was because I had not worked with this as a to do any sort of steeks with it, I did just a little bit of a stockinette little square here and cut it just to see what it was going to do, and pulled on it. And when I pulled on it, it raveled a little bit, but not much. And I really pulled on it. And I mean, but when I first cut it, it didn't go anywhere. It was like just cutting, normal cloth. I mean, just a straight cut. So I knew I could cut this. So let me get my scissors out. And I generally use, I've got a box at my feet, which is really kind of weird, but sorry. I sometimes will use the little scissors here for cutting steeks. I prefer the big ones. So, and what I'm going to do is get right in the middle, which should be, let's see, I use 10 steeks, and 2 of those are 2 purl stitches on either side. So there are 8 stitches. My purl stitches are right in there. Okay, you can kind of see them through here, through there. And so there are 8 stitches in the middle here. So did I do that? Oh, I did. I'm so good. I usually try to do, you see here, I usually try to do 2 stitches of the same color right where I'm going to cut them. It really doesn't matter. You've seen my steeking video. I'll show you that. I'll make a note to that in the, what am I trying to say? I'll give you a link to that in the notes. Okay. But if I cut a little over this way, it's not as great because I really like to have the full 4 stitches, and it is my, I'm going to trim them down, but I'd rather see them there, kind of cut right through the center. If I'm off by half a stitch, not any big deal. I could possibly cut this way over here, but I'd rather not because that's a little too close for me. But I'm going to cut right through the center here. And so this should go just fine. And I go right through the middle. And if I'll keep checking in the viewfinder to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. See, I can see because of these 2 orange ones together right there. I know I'm going right through the middle of those 2, and I'm just trying to stay in the middle of that steek panel. And that's just for neatness more than anything else, but we'll go through this, and I'll show you what we're going to do after this. I'm going to try to keep my hand underneath here. And by the way, before I cut this, I steamed it hit it with a steam iron, just to get it nice and flat. It is, this yarn is, I don't think it's going to felt all that much, more like rustic yarns might felt. But this at least will start it kind of sticking together. Let me get this underneath here where I can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'm just about at the top here. And you saw what kind of, it was sort of a conical shaped piece, and I'll pull it together so you can see it a little bit better once I get this done. I just want to make sure my hand is underneath here and I'm not going to cut anything from the back, because Lord knows that would not be good. So let me get that through. Where is it? There we go. Get that through there and just cut it straight off. Okay, so now that's done. Oops. Skipped a spot down here. Oops, there goes a ball of what's that called? Thread. A thread fell on the floor. It's not a skein. Spool. Sorry, all of a sudden I lost it. But you see what this is going to do now. This will curl up this way, and then we'll go across here, and this is going to curl up this way. And of course, when I wet block it, it'll do well. Now, my plan is to go through here in this ditch right there, and I will pick up stitches all along there. And I have figured out how many stitches I need to pick up. I pick all those up, right through where that purl stitch is, which is right, you can see it kind of right in there. Pick all that up, and then I'll go this way with a color, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be this orange color. I'm not sure, depending on how much I have, what kind of skeins I have. I don't think it will be that one, but maybe the orange one. And then go this way. I will trim this back to just a couple of stitches, and then go over and then tack it down on the back here, and that'll give me a line of color all across the top here, and then all across the top, kind of where this is, it'll be a line of color. And then the plan is to put tassels here and at the other end, here. And so you have seen the beginning of this video, so you will have seen it finished. I haven't. So we are back in time here. But I just wanted to show you that because of we're kind of stuck at the house right now because the roads and the everything. So I wanted to get something. I want to do something. So this is what I had to do. Wanted to record it. So you'll see the end of it later on. All right, so I wanted to give you an update. Last time you saw me cut the steek, and now I have taken that cut steek flap and encased it into this, what would that be called? Binding border. I mean, like quilting would be a binding, I guess. I've steam pressed the whole thing, and the table is shaking, sorry. And so, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing. So what I have here is my cut steek flap. Now it has started to ravel a bit, which was worrying me a bit. However, when I picked up the stitches to make this casing that's going to go over the top, this binding, I pick them up by going actually with a knitting needle going through the fabric, just like I showed you in that purl column. And when I go in and pick those up, it creates stitches. I mean, this is just the back side of those stitches. When you go in, wrap the yarn, pull it back up. When you make the next one, you've got all of this thing here. So that is what is kind of serving as what I like to call the fire break that stops anything here from raveling too much further. But I'm also working as fast as I can to get this down and not mucking with it a lot. I'm just sort of trying to be real delicate with it. But as I'm going along, I'm cutting down. Let's see if I can grab a pair of scissors here. Would these work? I hope so. I am cutting down. You see how you can see 1, 2, and partial 3 rounds there. I mean, 3 columns there. I'm cutting this down to 2 columns of stitches, just kind of right up the edge there. I'll get off of here now before I cut anything wrong. Where am I going? Okay, here, all the way up the top. Sorry, gone. Okay, so take that out of the way. Now, with that stitch down, I can do, I think it's an old quilting. You see, it's getting a little tight, just down, I think, well, it's about 2 there. So I'm pushing this in like this, taking my needle to kind of put that around, and then going through and picking up, and I really can't see this, let's see. Yeah, picking up a purl bump in the back there and pulling it through like that. And then I will go all the way around. Now I got to sit down and finish this because I don't like that kind of hanging out so loose, but this way it encases it all. Every so often I'll go forward and make sure that none of those picked up places, and I've checked those, that's the strand coming through the back there. But none of those pieces I picked up will come out in here. Well, I've just picked up the back of the stitches. So what this does is that in here is the half. I'm not quite sure what happens there. I'm going to have to figure out why that did that, but I'll figure that one out. Anyway, what happens here is that cut steek flap is inside this, and it really is sort of it's stretchy, but it's kind of a rope kind of thing across the top. And then what I'll do is wet block the whole thing and stretch it all out. So what it'll turn up being is, you can see here, it's going to be a crescent shawl, and it'll crescent around that way. But that's the next step to show you where that goes. And I've worked on steaming all this down. So there you have it. Until the next time. Okay, I hope you understood the process of that and the way this kind of worked. I talked about, I don't know whether I talked about this. Those were shot some time ago, so I have to remember this. This is fiber seed yarn. I finally have been talking to Lindsay and Jordan sometime about doing a shawl for them. It finally took me forever. I have not been able to kind of get as much done. Do you have that? Not as much done as you'd like to get done? I don't know. It's very frustrating. But anyway, this is now finished. It's been blocked. I'll put in a couple of the blocking pictures maybe over here so you can kind of see it under when it got blocked. And it's all ready to go. And I really love it. It's really soft. The yarn is really soft. It's really nice. And it's just the experiment of seeing if I could do this actually worked. So I'm excited. Does it have a name yet? No. That's the hardest thing for designers. I've talked to several, is finding a name that nobody else has used that really expresses what you are talking about in your project. I tentatively thought about, because this took me a while to do, it was definitely a labor of love because I'm so fond of Lindsay and Jordan, but also it was a labor just because there was a lot going on while I was working on this. So I'm thinking of calling this one Labors Won, W-O-N-E, W-O-N, as a play on Shakespeare's Love's Labour's Lost, because this was actually won. So, and actually as an encouragement. It looks a little daunting, I think, with all of the curly cues and things on it. It's not that hard. And I've got some people test knitting it in about a week or so. So if you're interested, I'll post it. Right now it's known as Labor's Won. And that's where we go. So thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to put it back on and mess up this microphone, but hopefully it won't be too bad. And I love the way the tassels came with this. It's very easy to wear. So thanks, guys.